Hey, good morning. It's October 17, 2022. Here we are again, UGG TV Live. And those of you that stumble upon us, we've been hearing some funny remarks. I know we're a bunch of clowns over here trying to run this, but it'll get better. I keep saying it'll get better. This is our third weekend now, and we're getting more and more fine-tuned. We're going to be, like I said, we're moving into a new uh, room office. We're expanding, and we're going to have everything. We'll be able to show movies. We'll be able to do a lot of things. Hey, I heard there's some breaking news today that good old Kanye West has literally put together a contract, and that he is buying the infamous conservative, where you can just say anything you want, Parler, Parler. So it looks like he's going to close it soon, like very, very soon. Within weeks, it looks like he's going to be closing the deal. As far as the amount, there was an undisclosed amount, so no one really knows exactly how much money he paid for it. But wow, that's pretty good. He wants people to have free speech, and I agree with him. Do you guys want to input anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, I know that from what I've seen, sources are saying that he doesn't have access to his Instagram account. He doesn't have access to his Twitter account, and this is this is a platform where he use how he feels, what he wants to say is not cancel.
No more cancel culture.
Go.
Right. Hey, did you guys call each other up last night and say, "Hey, I'm going to wear black"?
I just realized that.
We do that every night.
I'm going to have to start color coordinating with y'all.
Some of you remember when we both wore white, right?
Yeah, you look like a white sheet.
Somebody
you actually
commented
look
on
good.
that, so we're just in sync. We got that mind meld.
We're getting a lot of comments on Andy and his hair. You know what? I think that the more comments I hear out there about Andy and his hair, should he cut it? You know what? Tell us what kind of haircut he should get. Should he get a butch? Should he get it all cut off? Should he shave his head? What should Andy do? Give us some comments on what Andy should do.
Run a poll. We'll run a poll.
Andy, would you do it?
Yes, I would.
Yeah? All right.
All right.
You heard it. Andy says he will do it. Hey, listen, by the way, once we get into our new room, you won't have to see us flipping back and forth. We're going to actually have, cameras that'll be showing all of us together, like in a conference, which will be really, really nice. Hey, there's some more news. So the market opened up quite wide today. It opened up over 500 points. It's now down like 414 or 413, something like that. Who knows what it's going to do by the end of the day. But I was talking to Robert this morning, and he says, you know why the market is doing really well today? And I'm like, tell me, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's just a couple thoughts that I have. I mean, we can get it wrong, but corporate earnings is you're going to probably see a lot of buybacks.
The banks,
right?
Banks are showing, yeah.
And not to mention, traditionally in a fair market, you see these small minor relief rallies. You think about it, a couple weeks ago, where stock market surged up 800, 900 points, and then following a few days afterwards, we got crushed. Decimated.
Yeah, we've seen it. I mean,
so
look.
These relief rallies.
Last week. Exactly. And the S&P 500 just came off of its fourth negative week in 5 with a 1.6% loss last week. And it was because of a hotter than expected inflation reading that actually made or stoked the wild prices swings, So what we're looking at right now is just the beginning. We'll see what ends up coming of that.
One last thing, not to mention, you also have to play factor with the plunge protection team, right? Their job is to prop up the market when the market.
You mean entice?
I mean, prop it up, entice it, whatever you want to use. I mean, as it's getting blasted, right? So you also have the plunge protection team being another factor.
Well, let me share something with you. Monday's move actually comes as the British pound actually has risen now, because the pound was just crazy. I was talking to my friend in Germany again. He was so scared he was going to lose his pension. So it rose on more policy reversals from the government, the United Kingdom government. And now they've got a new UK finance prime minister that was brought in under Truss. Anyway, his name is Jeremy Hunt, and he announced that almost all planned tax cuts would be scrapped, and that the pound traded then 1% higher at $1.12 per U.S. dollar. So meanwhile, you have the third quarter earnings season in full swing, and investors are monitoring now if corporate America will have enough significant downward revisions to their outlook in the face of stubborn high inflation and the economic slowdown. Remember, there's no inflation just going to disappear overnight. This just didn't happen overnight. And you had Bank of America today reported better than expected results, sending the stock higher, and the stock up nearly 5%. And the Bank of New York Mellon also posted results that beat analysts' expectations, and its shares jumped more than 5%. But you got to remember, they're getting a lot of money as well from the feds through these repo and reverse. Remember, they're one of these counterparties. So these guys are getting a lot of money, billions of dollars every day through these repo and reverse. And there's other names like reporting this week is going to be Netflix, where I've heard from a canary in the coal mine. I've heard from in the background that Netflix numbers aren't going to be that great. Well, we'll see. We'll see what Netflix is going to be doing. But also Tesla and IBM, and I've heard that Tesla hasn't been doing so well either. And then you've got Johnson & Johnson, United Airlines, AT&T, Verizon, Procter & Gamble, and other big companies are on the investors' radar this week. So those are the reportings that are coming in this week. But, you guys, I want to share something with you. So Axios came out, and they did a chart, like an analysis. And they're talking about how the S&P 500 lost value during President Biden's term so far. And whereas it was in positive territory at this point in the terms of President Trump, and they included Obama. And by the numbers, the S&P 500 is down 5.6% between the last market close before Biden's inauguration and this past Friday's market close. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average is off 4.19% over the same period, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ has shed 21.4%. 21.4%. So be smart. And, think about where your funds are. Think about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, after you've listened to me and the guys, you can give us a call at 800-753-8534. 800-753-8534. Or you can call us direct in the office here as well if you don't want to talk to one of those answering call centers, and give us a call at 323-842. Oh, I'm sorry, 323-380-5485. I gave you my cell number, 323-380-5485. And we'll be happy to show you and share with you how you can go about protecting your retirement savings, either just purchasing gold and silver or being able to actually back it with an IRA, whether it be a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. There's a lot of ways that you can actually protect your life savings, and we can discuss that with you. On the other side of the coin, do you guys got anything you want to share? About what they're saying with the difference between Biden. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it is?
It's not a mystery when you have policies that are that don't support oil exploration, that shut down. First thing the guy Biden did was shut down the Keystone Pipeline. And look at in hindsight now, not just an economic error that was, what a just gross error that was, but in terms of policy and the what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, what a just a stupid strategic mistake that was. So when you have all these policies that are anti-business, they want to increase regulation, increase taxation, cut down on free enterprise. This is what happens.
I think that deserves one of these. I'll tell you what else deserves one of these is the White House economic advisor. And she came out on Friday. And by the way, I get why Biden is out eating ice cream and saying that the United States is doing great. That
sniffing young girls' hair.
I did watch it. Anyway, I get why he's saying these things, because when you have White House economic advisor saying that actions are starting to cool down in the U.S. economy, it makes you scratch your head. And here's what happened. So Reuters is reporting that White House economic advisor Cecilia Rouse said on Sunday that the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes were starting to cool the red-hot U.S. economy, especially labor and housing markets, but inflation was still too high. And Rouse, who actually chairs the White House Council of Economic Advisors, told the media that the Biden administration would work to bring costs down to the best of our abilities. Well, that ain't showing pretty good yet. But she said, but some inflation is related to energy price spikes prompted by the war in Ukraine, she said. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's why I think Biden went out and rode his bike and had an ice cream cone at the Baskin Robbins. What do you got to say?
It seems like whenever there are problems that they don't want to deal with, they send him to an ice cream parlor. So you'll think that he's
maybe he likes ice cream.
I'm sure he does. But
I like ice cream.
But they always seem to do that as a way to, when they're having some difficult issues, instead of dealing with the issue, they put him out there. He's this old grandfatherly guy who just likes ice cream. Oh boy, isn't that cute? Isn't that sweet? Yeah, Rob, you want to say?
What?
I mean,
well, isn't that cute? Isn't that sweet?
Well, why do they keep putting him out there? All he does is eat ice cream.
Well, I see him do other things. He don't just eat ice cream. He does other things. He walks on the beach. He falls off his bicycle.
Yeah.
He gets angry at times. Like, he does things. He signs things. He signs an executive order. Listen, he signed an executive order 14067, and that order clearly indicates that in order to remain the dominant world currency, that they must come out with a digital counterpart. Well, guess what? Guess somebody did come out with a digital counterpart, and it came out in India.
Right.
The news came out this week that Prime Minister Modi on Sunday said that 75 digital banking units in 75 districts is a big step toward the ease of living for common citizens and will open up a whole new world of possibilities by combining financial partnerships with digital partnerships. Remember, I told you the broadest form of government digital currency. Remember, I said government digital currency is going to become the central banks offering deposit accounts to the public at large. So people like you and me, our businesses, our corporations, nonprofits, municipalities will all have these accounts. And instead of being with private banks, it'll be associated with the Federal Reserve. So now it can be traced all the way down. And that is a tax authority's dream. And to me, that is a totalitarian regime. In other words, they're just control. So, and this is what they're talking about, in India, with the government. The government's credit leak schemes portal will also be available for ordinary uses, they say. And the State Bank of India, the country's largest tender, has opened up 12 of the 75 DBUs in places like, and goes on with the names. But we're talking about this is now starting to happen, and it's starting to happen in India. And what they're saying, this is what they're calling it. They're calling it the DBUs, all right? And these DBUs will help banks that are now looking to reduce their physical footprint with fewer brick and mortar branches. In other words, taking out the banks. And these DBUs, it says, with a light banking approach. The move may open up the rural market for service providers besides providing a boost to the credit flow. So, this is what I see here happening right now is exactly what is foretell for the rest of the world, is these digital counterparts. What do you got? You guys got something to say on this?
Yeah, I mean it's a kill switch to America's wealth. It's our founding forefathers right now, they're probably turning around in their grave, 100%. This is un-American. I don't believe that these digital banking units, these DBUs, should be even created. I mean, I get it. The government wants more control. They want to know exactly the start to finish on what clients are doing with their money, right? But it's a complete socialist takeover of the banking system, right? That's what it is. Whatever happens in tradition, this is how it works. What happens in the East, it goes right over to the West.
Well,
Don't be surprised when you get a letter from J.P. Morgan or you get a letter from B of A stating, "Open up your new digital wallet with our new DBU system." That's going to happen. I can see it now.
Well, okay. So participating in the event from the U.S., Sitherman said that DBUs will go a long way in giving further implication to digital banking in India and help the economy to move towards a cashless and inclusive economy. DBUs will enable people who don't have a personal computer or a laptop or even a smartphone to be able to access their banking services.
Now that's ass backwards. Come on now. That is completely backwards. How does that help them?
Well, it says that the governments, notice that word, many governments, including, I've said this, the United States, go so far as to create inflation. And the reason that they create this inflation is it's a way for them to take down the debt, in other words, depreciate the debt, but go along and destroy the value of their dollars. And they do it through hyperinflation. Well, India has huge inflation right now. And they go on and they say that the government's credit-linked schemes through the Jan Samarth portal will also be available for ordinary users, she said. So,
can I say something?
Please.
To all the great Indian people out there, Indian people have a great traditional love of gold in the culture. It's very much a part of the culture, and I think people are going to wake up and realize this is not real money. It's more surveillance. It's more government control. It's more socialism. It's not freedom. It's not something of real value. And when you're talking about things that have real value, we're talking about gold and silver. And like Rob was saying, our forefathers would be turning over in their grave. They absolutely would, because the Constitution says there's only two forms of money. And guess what they are? Gold and silver. There's nothing else that's real money. All this other stuff is government control, government manipulation, trying to keep you from having any kind of freedom, increase their surveillance and control over you, because they're afraid. They're going down and they know it. Their time is up. It's over for them. It's game over, and they know it. And these are desperate last measures. They're trying to hold on to power. That's all what it's about. And you want to be free of that. You don't want to have that grip around your neck. That's why you need precious metals. You need gold and silver. It's connected with American freedom, American values of liberty, independence, and there's no other time to do it than right now.
That's good, Andy. Let me tell you something. Gold and silver are money, like you said, right? And they're not, but it's not by government degree, right?
Right.
However, you got to remember this, that because they've proven to be over the test of time by maintaining their value, it's always been a hedge against things when things are really getting bad, right? So we are also a member of, and by the way, y'all, you can go in and you can check them out. You can subscribe to them. They're a great organization, and it's the Sound Money Defense League. And we proudly support the Sound Money Defense League. And the Sound Money Defense League is actually working to bring back gold and silver as Americans' constitutional money.
Amen.
Because when you go back to the gold standard, when currency is backed by gold, it cannot be diluted by printing more. And societies that have maintained a gold standard have thrived throughout history. Would you all agree?
Oh, absolutely.
And sound money is money that is not prone to sudden appreciation or depreciation in purchasing power over the long term. And it's aided by self-correcting mechanisms that inherent in a free market system. And this is why, their big thing is your state destroying your money. And Sound Money Defense League and the United Gold Group, we're proud to present the 2020 Sound Money Index, which is the authoritative and comprehensive ranking of all 50 U.S. states and monetary policies. And you can find that live on our website. Go to www.unitedgoldgroup.com. So just go www.unitedgoldgroup.com. And on there, you'll see the link to Sound Money Defense League, and you can learn a whole lot about who they are and what they do and how you can support them. Also, you'll notice that we're also members of the National Coin and Bullion Association, the ICTA. So we have a lot of organizations that we belong to. And, just go onto our website. You can find daily news on there. You can find how you can do things with the IRA. You can do so many things, as well as hear live clips from the show. Also past shows that I've been on with other conservative radio hosts. So you go to www.unitedgoldgroup.com. Listen, I want to talk about something that I talked about on Friday, and I had to look it up because I wasn't quite sure, because I haven't heard a lot of noise about it yet, but I get in here early. I'm in here at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But, NATO has now begun its nuclear exercises amid the war with Russia right now, or their Russian war. I could say they're in the war with Russia because they're supplying them stuff. Everybody's supplying them stuff. But NATO on Monday began its long-planned annual nuclear exercises in northwestern Europe, as tensions actually are simmering over the war in Ukraine. And President Vladimir Putin's threat to use any means to defend his Russian territory. And there's 14 of NATO's 30 member countries that were due to take part in these exercises, which the military alliance said would involve around 60 aircraft, including fighter jets and surveillance and refueling planes. And the bulk of these war games are being held at least 1,000 kilometers, which is 625 miles from the Russians' border. And NATO said that the training flights are going to take place over Belgium, which is hosting Steadfast Noon this year, as well as over the North Sea and the United Kingdom. And these exercises involve fighter jets capable of carrying nuclear warheads but do not involve any live bombs. And these exercises were planned before Putin ordered Russian troops into Ukraine in February. And Russia usually holds its own annual maneuvers around the same time, and NATO is now expecting Moscow to exercise its nuclear forces sometime this month. So they're talking about maybe it'll probably do it after. Who knows? But I also heard over the weekend that, again, Putin is reaching out saying that he wants to stop. He's going to stop the mobilization. But then again, I hear about these drones, these kamikaze drones that are going over into Kyiv now, and just starting to blow things up over there. So, doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon, but I hear Putin will keep trying to reach out, wants to make something stop, wants to stop it. So I don't know. I don't know why there's no peace going on out there, but there needs to be some kind of end to all of this, because a lot of lives are being destroyed, not only in Ukraine, but you've got Russia destroying itself as well. So, yeah, and now you've got NATO, that's backing Ukraine. I mean, there's going to be a lot of lives destroyed beyond what's already been destroyed. Think about all those people in Ukraine that have had to been, that are being out of their homes. But then again, I see photos of people, and I see videos of people on the beaches there in Ukraine. I mean, I don't know what to believe. Just like you don't know what to believe in the United States sometimes, because it's like they put a curtain on a veil across our faces, and they're not telling us everything that's going on, right?
That's true.
All we do is we get it from like the media. That's how we actually hear these things. Do you guys got anything you want to say? I know I've been doing a lot of talking. They say I talk a lot.
I mean, it's really just a scary time. The one thing I did see last Friday was that the number one Google trending search right now on Google Trends is nuclear war. That's what everybody's searching. That's what everybody's trying to figure out, right? Which goes to show the mindset of your everyday, citizen here in the U.S. They're clearly concerned. They want more information about are we going into some sort of nuclear war, right? 'Cause if we are, it seems like, right, there's going to be a lot of lives at risk, at stake, a lot of damage, right? It's unprecedented time we're living in.
Wow, you're making me sad.
Very, very, very different.
Yeah, I think it's obvious the U.S. is pushing this war. They're not trying to make peace. I think Russia has some legitimate claims. I'm not a big supporter of Putin, but I think they have legitimate claims, and I think this thing could be easily worked out. But the government is they want to keep this thing going. They obviously.
You think they hiding something? Maybe, I don't know. I kind of wonder if after hearing everything, if they're hiding something or what's going on. I don't know.
Keep in mind, Ukraine is probably the most corrupt country in the world. And
well, we know it was.
That's saying
there were a lot of Nazis there. I know that.
Yeah, there still are, but the corruption in the government is unbelievable.
But we have corruption in the government everywhere you look. I mean,
of course,
look at
that money we're giving to Ukraine. Who knows where it's going? Nobody even knows. It's not even traceable. It's not even trackable.
I mean, you want to talk about corruption? Look at what. We won't mention her name, but she lives in San Francisco and she's the House Speaker. I won't mention her name, but
let me get a call.
Come on, I mean that
she knows how to pick them.
That family is outdoing Warren Buffett, from what I heard. It's like
she knows how to pick them.
Do you remember when they took Martha Stewart because she had insider trading and they locked her up in the federal penitentiary? How come these government officials, Martha, you and your house, you got locked up?
Well, my thing is this: it's like what is it, Zelensky? That's the president of Ukraine. That's what his last name, Zelensky. Well, why is Zelensky on the cover of GQ magazine? Right?
No, he's on Vogue.
On Vogue.
Yeah,
is it Vogue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
a fashion spread
Yeah, I
in
mean,
the
like,
middle of a war, right?
like that's not right.
Yeah.
Like you got your people evacuating the country. You have just max pain. People are dying. Bombs blowing up. And you're on the cover of Vogue.
Yeah, no. Hey, there's some shocking, speaking about like Democrats, right? So, and by the way, if you haven't seen this, just Google it. It's all over the
I think I know
freaking
where you're
internet. It's about this politician. And this politician has gotten so dirty that he's brought sex into his campaign.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Listen, there's an independent congressional candidate in New York. Imagine that, New York, where they have the Green Goblins and the McDonald killers and all this stuff. I mean, you got all these people over there, Gotham City.
There it is.
City of ill repute. Ill repute. But anyway, this congressional candidate in New York is running to unseat Representative Gerald Nadler. Well, he ain't too much to look at. It's a Democrat again from New York. And listen, I'm not making this up. I wonder if he'll go to American Video, like the AVN Awards or something. I wonder if he'll.
I'm sure he will, right?
Anyway, he made a porn, and is he married?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. And made a porn video to show off his, I'm not making this up, sex positive campaign. And Mike Itkus, who is a self-described liberal independent candidate, uploaded the video titled Bucket List Bonanza. You can imagine, Bucket List Bonanza. And he uploaded it to Pornhub over the summer with porn performers Nicole Sage, and told City and State that he made the video as a conversation piece.
Well, we're talking about it. Here we are.
Well, wait a minute. I have to get it out. And because, anyway, he goes on, he said that, Itkus said that simply talking about the issue of sex positivity wouldn't show others that he's committed to the issue. He said, if I would just talk about it, it wouldn't demonstrate my commitment to the issue. And the fact is, I actually did it, was a huge learning experience. And it actually influenced items on my platform, Itkus said, according to this report. And, you know, his campaign website states that if elected, he would take a sex-positive approach. Are you ready for this? Which would include legalizing sex work. So could you imagine? You now in Gotham City, and you just go to a window, get your marijuana, walk in the room, find you a hooker, legalized hooker, and it now becomes legal too. Unbelievable. And and let me tell you something else. According to his website, Itkus believes that men should not be required to support oh my God, should not be required to support biological children without prior agreement. He also believes that people should have a right to not become a parent in case of pregnancy, and would attempt to redefine the abortion debate as a right to unplanned sex. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on all this. Andy, you're speechless.
This is what you get when you have a society that is advancing into a decadent demise. This is.
I mean, come on.
Ray Dalio describes how
I can't even show you the photos.
This is like at the when you're at the end of an empire, and you have the decadent behavior becomes so prolific. It just becomes a normal part of life. And it's funny because, you were talking about sound money, and it's interesting how this connects. When they debase the money, every society goes in the toilet when the government starts debasing the money. They start mixing it with copper, and they do it more and more, and they debase the money. And while the money's being debased, the values of the culture are also being debased. So we're looking at this guy here. This is a debased culture. This is no values. This is just decadent, um, debauched behavior. And here we are with the money being devalued. So these things go together. That's my view.
Well, this is not the first time we've seen something like this, right? I mean, a couple months ago you had State Senator Tiara Mack, her twerking video where she's like, I mean, she's not attractive.
Yeah, but she just got caught doing that. She wasn't campaigning twerking.
No,
was she?
Yes.
That was part of
Oh
her
my
campaign.
God. Was she?
Yeah.
Is she Democrat too?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean,
Come on.
this
They're
is
not
going
all.
to be the new norm, right? I mean, you have this lady twerking, right? You have him, with a porn star creating a sex video. I mean, this is going to be the new norm. What's next, right? It's like, it's like they're topping each other. Like, what's going to be the next?
Oh my God.
Out of control, unbelievable, campaign event. Right?
Well, speaking of New York, let me tell you something else. So we talked about this a few weeks ago. There was a man that was released without bail for going into a McDonald's with an axe. Now listen to this, you guys. A 31-year-old. Again, here we are back in Gotham City again.
These guys are so young, 31.
I'm not even picking on Chicago today. A lot happened in Chicago again too.
Your favorite mayor, Lori Lightfoot.
Oh my
Your
God!
favorite mayor.
That woman, when I look at her, she looks like a jack-o'-lantern with her eyes plugged out, or something's wrong with those eyes. She just, I don't know, Lori, but give it up. I don't think she's gonna be mayor again. There's too many people moving out of there. Speaking of moving out, Marky Wahlberg just moved out of L.A. and moved over into Las Vegas. He's fed up with Los Angeles, he said. He just moved over to Vegas. But anyway, there's a 31-year-old New York City man who was arrested and released without bail last month after he terrorized McDonald's patrons with an axe. And he was arrested again this week for graffiti and stealing a bike and invading police. I just see the police chase. You're writing on the walls, stole somebody's bike to get away from the police, and was again released without bail. So this guy, Michael Polly, I can't even say it anyway. He was approached by police on Sunday evening after being spotted spraying graffiti in Brooklyn. And this prompted him to snatch an expensive bike from a nearby coffee shop. Can you imagine the police chase on this one? This had to be funny. And led officers on a chase before eventually being arrested. And this was reported by the New York Post. And the bike was valued. The bike was valued at $3,500. In my day and time, that's called a felony. $3,500. And the bike was damaged during the chase. And the New York Police Department confirmed to this Fox News Digital. And the department says that he was found in possession of graffiti paraphernalia, and authorities suspect he is also responsible for another graffiti incident in Queens in June. Well, this guy was charged with grand larceny. That's a felony. 2 counts of criminal mischief, possession of stolen property, making graffiti, and possession of graffiti instruments. He was also charged for the graffiti incident in June. Now, the New York Post reported that he was released without bail on Monday. Now, this incident comes the month after this guy was involved in a viral mess in a Lower East Side McDonald's where he was seen arguing with a group of men before pulling an axe out of his backpack and smashing a glass partition and pointing the axe at many Patreons. And he was arrested, and he was charged with criminal mischief, 3 counts of menacing and 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon, and then he was released without bail. And after being released, here's what he did. Following the McDonald's rampage, he came out and he told the New York Post that he is not unhinged or a loose cannon, and claimed he showed composure during the chaos. He said, "I'm not psychotic. I just did what anybody would do when being pummeled."
Hey, listen, I saw that video, by the way.
Wait, he says, "What would you do? Take out your phone and call 911? Everybody's talking about how I should be in jail," he said. "I did my 18 hours, bro. What else do you want? Why do I have to be in jail? I'm not going to make it a race thing just because I'm big and black." Well, I'm not going to make it a big race thing. Some local politicians, including Republican New York gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin, highlighted that the McDonald's attack is evidence of flaws in the state's controversial bail reform law and rising crime in the nation's largest city. So here we go. This is just signs of showing you what's going on in this country. They're literally arresting them, taking them in for a few hours, and then letting them right back out on the street. And what do you think they're going to do if they're getting right back out on the street, guys?
Same shit.
They're going to go right back to it again,
Right
aren't they?
what they've been doing. You know, I saw the video of this guy at the McDonald's.
Yeah.
And it looked like he did get into a confrontation, and then 3 men started pounding on him, punching him in his face, punching him in the back of the head, and then as soon as they were done punching him, I guess they were tired or whatnot, ended up, assaulting him and taking out that axe. Started breaking and destroying.
Oh, you mean they started hitting him first?
Well, yeah, it looks like.
Oh, so he was defending himself.
That's what the video looked like. Like he was defending himself, but I mean, to his part, like.
Well, why didn't they get arrested?
Like, what are you gonna do when you have 3 men pounding and punching on you? You're gonna do exactly what he did, right? But then, what led up to that?
There's always more to the story.
Yeah, there's obviously more to the story.
So you're saying that this big black man, as he described
he's
himself.
Pretty tiny. I seen him on video. He's probably like 5'8", 5'7". He's just husky.
Okay.
He's tiny.
And he goes into McDonald's. I remember reporting on this. I think he had a bike in there or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so why did they start hitting him? Was he doing something? Because I remember the video. He was being pretty outspoken in that McDonald's.
It's like a 4-minute video, 5-minute video. I mean, in the beginning of the video.
I wish I could show it, but I can't. Yeah.
Talking. It seems like things got kind of heated, and then they started pounding on him. Right.
Who? The people in the McDonald's?
Yeah, the people in the McDonald's.
Because he was being rude or something? I think.
It's New York,
All right, so they just started beating on him.
And then from there,
this guy pulls out an axe.
Starts pounding on them.
So he's just protecting himself.
That's what it looked like. I mean, as soon as he started beating on them and pulling out the axe, you could see the other grown men, who were much bigger than he was, start to, tuck their dick between their legs. Like scared, right? And then he starts to break and destroy the McDonald's, to face the McDonald's. Then he leaves. But I mean, this guy. I mean, it seems like this guy.
So that's why he got arrested. He got arrested because he destroyed property.
Right. Yeah. Right. But then again,
I wonder how big his rap.
This guy's a criminal to begin with. I mean, he's defacing property. He's stealing a $3,500 bike. I mean, like somebody in the right mind's not going to do that. So it's just like he's attracting what's in vibration with him, right?
I got you. Hey, speaking of grown men, all right, did you see this weekend the NASCAR races?
What happened?
Oh, you missed it. So Bubba Wallace, we're talking a big black man, Bubba Wallace.
He's a funny guy.
All right. NASCAR's only top-level black driver and very big local supporter of Black Lives Matters. First of all, there was a all-out war between Bubba Wallace. He went on, first of all, it started off where they started fighting each other. On Sunday, Wallace, during Stage 2 at the South Point 400, Wallace's temper was on full display when he went after NASCAR driver Kyle Larson after a crash. And Wallace confronted Larson, screaming at him and shoving him repeatedly. And this guy, Bubba Wallace, you know how big Bubba Wallace is, and Kyle Larson, they were involved in a heated confrontation as well at a Las Vegas Motor Speedway during Sunday's South Point 400, with Wallace losing his temper after Larson actually ran into the wall, leading to Wallace wrecking Larson. And then the two got into this shoving match in the infield. And coming off turn 4, Larson ran Wallace off the track and into a wall, and a move Wallace responded to by hooking a left into Larson's right rear fender, crashing them both at the wall, as well as a playoff contender, Christopher Bell. And still not satisfied, Walker walked toward Larson's car as Larson climbed out into the infield, confronting him, and then he shoved him several times while Larson tried to walk away. The situation was finally de-escalated by NASCAR officials. It was hilarious. Yeah. It was caught on video, but I can't show it because it's violent.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace came to prominence with the fake noose. Remember that?
Yeah, well, he was protecting that Jussie Smollett guy and all.
Yeah, and he had the whole fake noose thing.
Yeah, he did. He was caught in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, I think it's all for the clout. It's all for the retweets. It's all for the shares. Like, come on, like this guy. There's a documentary, I think, like on Netflix.
You mean on Bubba?
On Bubba.
Yeah.
Where, he talks.
Well, can you imagine? Listen.
He doesn't believe what he talks about. It's all for the retweets. It's all for like the shares, right? It's all for the clout.
Oh, so like Kim Kardashian does.
You could say that. Yeah.
Just for attention.
Exactly.
It's interesting because you got to have a lot of testosterone to be driving those cars around those tracks that fast and around those curves, right? Yeah. So maybe he might be on something. It could be on testosterone or something. Who knows? I don't know. Hey, do not, and I repeat, do not throw away your Levi's. That's right. You would be surprised. What I'm about to tell you, Andy, if you go into your Levi's. Yeah. I'm telling you. But let me tell you something.
I got a lot of Levi's.
There was a pair of Levi's from the 1880s that had a racist slogan. Listen to this. This is not made up. And it sold for $76,000. And there was a pair of these well-worn 19th century Levi jeans, and they allegedly, well, from what I understand, they featured a racist slogan. And this guy's named Kyle Hopper. He's 23 years old, and he's a vintage clothing collector from right here in California, San Diego. He snapped up these rare jeans dating from the 1880s at the Durango Vintage Festival auction in New Mexico on October 1. And these secondhand jeans, hailed as the holy grail of vintage denim collecting, were discovered inside an abandoned mine shaft several years ago, and they're believed to be one of the oldest known Levi's from that era. And the antique pants are even complete with the viral racist label characteristic of that time. And the label printed on the interior of the pocket declares, I know you all are like dying. What did it say? What did it say? It said the only kind made by white labor. That's pretty racist. The only kind made by white labor. Wow. A racially charged slogan used by the company during a time of pervasive and anti-Chinese discrimination in the United States. And this was reported by the Wall Street Journal. It was adopted following the passages of this xenophobic Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, which barred Chinese laborers from entering the U.S. for 10 years. This is what a Levi spokesperson told the Wall Street Journal. Boy, I wonder if they're going to get a lot of slack over this now.
What
I wonder
were the jeans valued at?
so
77?
76,000.
so here's what they're saying. Levi said that the company's owners thought that the slogan would improve sales and align with the view of their consumers at that time. Boy, I wonder if they're going to get slack over this. Anyway, it was then scrapped in the 1890s, is what the spokesperson said. The act, meanwhile, was repealed in 1943. And despite being more than a century old, the jeans with a 38-inch waist and a 32-inch length are said to be in good wearable condition, according to the listing. And the pants are still covered in specks of wax from candles used by prospectors who were searching for gold in narrow tunnels. So they were out looking for gold, and instead they found these Levi's.
God, what a find, right?
And they feature suspender buttons and a single back pocket. I remember when we used to have those when I was a kid. We had that, and I used to wear those little suspenders. They had little chuckers on them. And they'd say, "Boy, don't that kid look cute in them suspenders?" Anyway, and this guy bought the jeans as an investment together with Zip Stevenson, the longtime owner of a vintage denim store in Los Angeles, with the former ponying up 90% of the bid and later kicking in the other 10%. And the total price of these historic jeans came out to a whopping $87,000 with the buyer's premium factored in. So he says, I'm still kind of bewildered, just surprising myself for even purchasing them, is what he told the Journal. But, these jeans are something else. But I was just looking. It says waist 38. Here, I'll show you all a photo of it. Waist 38, length 32. Levi Strauss. It doesn't show us, though, where the actual white labor part of it is, though. Anyway, listen, good talking to you today. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow. We'll bring in some more good news. Have any comments? Please share them. What does Andy need to do with that hair? Should he cut it? Should he go bald? Give us some comments. I want to hear it. I can't wait to read this. And then God bless every single one of you. See you tomorrow. Peace out.